everyone. How are you?
Welcome back to League of Mayhem. What kind of trouble will we get into today?
Lots and lots of trouble. So who do we have here?
Today we are joined by...
Hello.
We
Hello,
got
Fear Grayson.
I'm seeing the usual suspects so far.
Yes. What's up, Philip?
Igor, your birthday was yesterday, wasn't it? Happy late birthday.
Happy late birthday. So today we have a very, very special guest. We've hinted at, well, we didn't hint it. We pretty much said that. We told you. We gave it away. So, yeah, let's start this off. So we will have...
just before anyone asks, Meg will be here soon. She's on her way home from work.
Yes, Meg will be here soon. Meg will be here very, very soon. She's running from work, so...
So let's introduce the ladies first, Nana.
Ladies first? All right, then. So today, we have Fatma.
Fatma, you can find her at Fringe Bets, and you can find Amanda on the Amanda Lauren Show.
Yes. Okay.
Oh God, I love your background right now.
Thank you. I'm going to try to turn this. It would not rotate before, so I just flipped upside down. So we're going to see live what happens, because I'm pretty sure it's just going to, yeah. See, what is that? What is that?
I like this.
This is actually on brand for me, so we'll just keep it. No.
Okay, and then there is Tiff.
Hello.
Tiff has taken over the Poindexter Lounge again.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta have Superman and you gotta have Vader, or vice versa.
Yes.
Okay, and where is Enosh in his pink onesie?
Well, he actually had me set up, so I told him, I said, if you're planning on coming in, I said, you gotta grab Bruce, and he's on my nightstand. So.
Is he behind the Darth Vader stand? No.
Yes, if he is, he'll come behind the Darth Vader.
Just like pops up over the shoulder.
Exactly. He'll be like, hi.
And now we want to introduce the man who needs no real introduction in this fandom, is Darkseid himself, Ray Porter.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice
How
to
are
meet you.
Good to meet you. How's it going?
Good.
Going amazing.
Cool.
Yes, it
Hello,
is.
Amanda.
Much better
Hello,
now.
Tiff. Very nice to see you guys. Hi. I like what you were doing with the camera, and I was thinking I would just do this.
Everybody leads sideways first.
Yeah. I mean, we could do the entire broadcast like the old school Batman walking up the building thing.
There you go.
And your guests popping out of windows.
Yeah.
Special
cool.
effects.
Yeah.
Practical special effects. We love
Practical,
it.
yes. That's what's missing from this whole thing is really, yeah, pyro, in a Zoom meeting. That's what you need. How's everyone doing?
Doing well. How about you?
Doing okay. Doing all right. Sitting here in the dark. This is my vocal booth. I don't have entertaining stuff on the back wall like you guys do. It's just sound deadening material.
And
I'd actually thought about should I hang like some sort of drape or something in the back, and I just was like, nah.
No. Because we're getting a peek into your workshop.
Yeah,
so.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's basically I sit in a blanket fort and say other people's words all day long. What is this? This is no kind of work for adults.
That's a real job.
Actually.
Thank you. Yeah, I've done it a few times. Yeah.
I mean, you get to read books out loud for living.
It's true.
I mean,
It's been really fun. I've gotten to read some cool stuff that Sorry?
I said people enjoy it when you do that instead of cringe.
Well, sometimes, I mean, when my son was very, very, very tiny, I was reading him like one of my favorite books, never mind children's books, one of my favorite books, period, The Phantom Toll Booth. Ooh. And was reading it to him. He was like, I don't know, 2 maybe. And it's bedtime and I'm reading it to him. And I just feel this little hand on my arm and just, Daddy, don't do the voices. Just read the book. Don't do the voices. I'm like, You do realize people like pay good money to hear me do the voices. He's like, yeah,
Yes.
no. Like the ultimate thanks. We'll let you know, from my child.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. So,
Children are too honest. Too honest.
Don't do the voices. Okay. All right.
Don't do the voice.
I won't do the voices.
Is there anything interesting you're working on right now that you can disclose?
Yeah, I'm working on some really interesting stuff. Always. I don't want to give anything away. I mean, you may or may not know I have a bit of a fear of like giving anything away. It's not like I'm under an NDA or anything like that, but I can tell you, like recently I had a couple of books come out that I'm really proud of. Mount Fitzroy, which was the sequel to Earthcore by Scott Sigler, which is available on Audible, which is just massive. I mean, honestly, I'd recommend getting the first book, Earthcore, and then do Mount Fitzroy. It's really fun. And then a standalone for Jonathan Mayberry called Ink. That is, without giving too much away, what if someone had the ability to steal your tattoos and along with your tattoos, your memories attached to them?
Ooh.
So, it's really fun.
Very interesting concept.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. So, and I'm working on a British book right now, time travel British thing. So there'll be lots of accents for you to judge.
Hold on. Time travel British thing.
It's not a timey-wimey Doctor Who type thing. Okay. I wish it was, but no.
And you are working on a Doctor Who book, like.
Oh my God, are you kidding? I'd love that.
Are you kidding? You would happily tell us because then you couldn't hold it in.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hey, we'd love that too, though. I mean,
absolutely. And I'd get to work with Neil Gaiman again, which would be really, really fun.
Yes, that's true, because you did Sandman.
I did do Sandman. Very, very fun. Yes.
Played
Beelzebub to Michael Sheen's Lucifer.
Oh, look at that. Amanda figured it out.
I did.
You're back.
Every time my children get a hold of my phone, I cannot tell you the number of calls I've missed because they put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I didn't realize it because I didn't do it. So,
right, it's very considerate of them to like really guard your time that way, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're totally guarding they're hoarding my time.
Yes, of course they are.
Like it. Tell me more about Neil. I just love
Neil is one of my favorite authors, bar none. And I was a little starstruck when I met him in London at the recording for the thing. And he's such a kind person. And yeah, gentle, wonderful, kind person. And you're like talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, you're the dude who wrote Neverwhere. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, he's phenomenal. And then when you're in a studio and he's right there and you're performing his words.
Yes.
And he's narrating, the scene that you're doing. And that, I mean, it's just phenomenal. I hope that there's more Sandman, and I hope that, I hope we get to do it in such a way that, COVID is over and we can all be packed in that little studio again in London working, because that was absolutely the best. Some of the greatest actors I've ever encountered, who I didn't know before, and they aren't household names.
Right.
And I got to work with them, and that was phenomenal. So yeah, it's terrific. And I am a fan of Neil. I was a fan of Neil before I met him. After having met him, I'm even more a fan of Neil.
Isn't that the best? When you meet someone you admire and they're just as nice as you hoped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. There's a lot of people that I've worked with that, are even nicer than you hoped. I mean, I've had.
Can you name names?
Well,
I mean, this is like,
let me just sit here and drop names right and left. I did a production of Henry IV Part 1 where Tom Hanks played Falstaff. And everything that you can imagine about how nice he is times 10.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
So good to hear though. It's so good to hear that these people that generally are admired are nice people. It
was you had mentioned to at least Nana and I about working with Tom Hanks before, and you said how he was so nice. So I went and I told my dad about that because he's a huge Tom Hanks fan, and I was explaining to him who you are to us and how you're our friend, and he was just like, "Oh, that is such a relief to hear."
Yes,
someone that's close to you, that he's just as nice as I hope he is.
Oh, he absolutely
I guess it's apt that he played A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Very apt.
Yeah, very apt.
Mr.
Absolutely.
Rogers is my actual role model. So, I just... Yes. Okay.
So we have the last person of today joining us.
Mego's here.
There she is.
Hey.
And the
Hello.
first shall be last.
Hello.
What's up?
Welcome to the weirdest episode of the Brady Bunch ever.
Yeah. When do we start singing?
I don't know. We'll look up at each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Am I looking down at you?
Whoa.
Where am I?
Oh my God.
Who did this? Cole did it. I didn't.
Well, you put the three of us up here, so that's why I did it.
Yes. Honestly,
Neil Gaiman
there
is
are...
a genius, so incredibly talented. The Sandman is so exquisite, it can single-handedly convince people to start using Audible that don't already. Yeah, that's not a bad statement to make at all. Wow.
Well,
High
fun
praise.
fact, you don't need to actually be subscribed to Audible to listen to their books. I'm not subscribed, and I listen to their books mostly. So
Cool.
if you don't want to be subscribed, but you want to hear Ray and Sandman, you can totally do that.
All
Very
right.
good to know.
New information I did not know.
So,
I think it's going.
Oh, I'm sorry. As a voice actor,
Yeah.
I read a lot of scripts and books and things like that for my work.
Right.
So when I read well-written fiction, especially, I sometimes hear the person's voice, their tonality, their pitch, their like the tension in their voice, the volume, all of that. I can hear it so tangibly in my head.
Yes.
Do you have that experience, and is it difficult for you to play against that, if that's what...
That's a really good question. It's the thing with audiobooks, particularly when you're sat alone and you are playing every character, in every scene and that sort of thing. I think of it as kind of a weird synesthesia in that I can imagine the person's face. And if I see that person's face, I know exactly how they sound. So in my mind's eye, I see what the person looks like, and they open their mouth to talk, and whatever comes out is how they sound.
Yeah.
And that has served me pretty well. It's sometimes tripped me up. You learn as a young audiobook narrator, I learned not to go, hard on the throat playing demons and things like that, because you've got to be able to have a voice and be able to function at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the author describes someone as having a voice like, gravel tossed into a paint shaker, well,
get Miley Cyrus on the job. Steven Tyler.
Yeah, let's get a heavy metal, vocalist in to do that.
Right.
Oh God, that girl from Ginger. Are you guys familiar with that band, Ginger?
No, but I will.
Jinjer. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a girl from TikTok I just became aware of called Taylor Destroy, who can just rip out, pull out her growling heavy metal voice, or ordering a coffee. She doesn't even have to
Imagine being the barista that gets that order.
Can you imagine? Totally.
And then you
Yeah.
meet a small little blonde girl, and you're like, oh.
And the thing is, I mean, you have to be careful. As an actor, you can do yourself. I'm very sorry about this, you guys. You can do yourself injury. So you have to be somewhat careful. But
I was reading about someone's an interview from years ago with one of the voice actors who was on Avatar: Last Airbender. And there's this scene at the last season of the series where one of the main characters goes completely insane. And the actress explained that they basically shut her in the sound room, turned out the lights, and she just went to this place that was completely like, it switched everything off. Like her sanity just went out the window for that scene.
It's actually kind of cathartic when you get to do that. I had an experience like that in a production of Coriolanus Shakespeare play, where I played Tullus Ophidius, who's kind of the main sort of antagonist. I play a lot of bad guys.
You're honestly a big teddy bear, and you give great hugs, so it's kind of funny.
But I have this opportunity to just go completely crazy, and it's marvelous. You start thinking, gee, maybe there should be a room where daily adults can just come in and scream and rail and break things and freak out for about 30 minutes or so, and then get on with their day.
Yes. I think we all need that.
If you work in a grocery store or a restaurant, that's the walk-in freezer.
Right, of course.
Yes, it is.
Of course. Little bit
I've
of
been there a
coping
few
Pilates.
times.
Yeah.
Or if you have a commute, it's your car. That's me.
Yeah.
I don't yell at other cars. Sometimes I just let it go.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Ray.
Please.
Sorry. Because
no, go.
No, I was going to ask. So obviously, we've been talking about your voice acting, but we also know that you have been, you have appeared as in various TV shows, and then obviously there's this, little thing called Zack Snyder's Justice League where you will appear.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
After school special.
Yeah.
Never heard of it, says the girl who has it on her chest. Anyway. I was going to ask, so when you compare the two, just the voice acting and the regular acting, and you've also been acting on the stage, what would you say are differences that people don't generally notice? Like things that you notice that are different for you and how you prepare and how you approach these things, but not necessarily something we see. Because obviously on screen and on stage we see you, and in the voice acting we don't. So that's obviously.
Well, I mean, obviously on screen, the camera can tell as much of the story as you can, and in some cases even more of the story than you can convey as an actor. On stage, it's you and the other actors and the language, and that's it. You're kind of working without a net in that way. The challenges are very different for the different media, obviously. Voice acting is fine, but I do like playing with other actors, and so sort of generating it all on your own gets a little lonesome. It was part of the reason why doing Sandman was so fun in London, was that I was in the room with a bunch of actors and we could play with each other and play off each other. And boy, she just did something amazing. I really need to bring my A game. Okay. And let's do this. And it's exciting. It's fun. Acting is a very social thing by nature. So a lot of it is just making certain that no matter what your own personal deal is, it's like, well, I'm used to being on stage and there's the throne and a king and some swords and we're going to do this thing and it's all fine. And then suddenly you're on a mocap set or it's all green screen and here's a box and this box happens to be, a car and you've got to pretend. And it's really just about getting how much stuff do you have to push out of the way so that there's a clear line between your pretending, your acting, and the audience's interpretation of it? How do you clear that path and don't mess up the text or what the director or what the writer is trying to do? So it's different challenges, but rewarding and fun. But I will say I prefer acting with people.
Yeah.
You mentioned in an interview with you were on Dave, Film Junkie Dave.
Yes. Yeah.
Stream 6 months ago or so, and I was watching it earlier today. And
oh boy,
first, hello, fellow Hoosier. Hello.
Hey, where are you?
No, I'm from Amish country, Northeast Indiana. So
where?
LaGrange.
LaGrange, nice.
Which is near Shipshewana, which is
yes, I knew some people from Shipshewana and from Goshen.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a big Amish community around Kokomo where I grew up too.
Yes.
So yeah.
Burn? No, different area. Anyway, but one of the things that you mentioned to Dave was that you got bit by the acting bug your year of high school when you went to a production. Do you remember what the name of that production was?
Yeah, it was George Bernard Shaw's Heartbreak House at Indiana Repertory Theater in Indianapolis. And I had grown up kind of in the business. My mother is an actor and singer, dancer, Broadway, knew Bob Fosse, the whole thing. My grandfather was with the circus. He didn't bite the heads off bats. He was a publicity advance man. But he grew up in that he came up in the really golden age of the circus. He was with Ringling Brothers and various other shows from the 30s on. Nice. It's a really interesting American history. So that was always a part of my history growing up. And it was kind of like, yeah, that's what everybody does. I didn't feel compelled to follow in the footsteps. And I was going to do other things. But then I saw this production. I don't know. There was something about it. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So I ended up going to the California Institute of the Arts here in LA and studied acting. And I had a good friend who was a couple of years ahead of me named Don Cheadle. And a few other people, that were at Cal Arts at that time that really turned into Andrew Stanton from Pixar, Wall-E, and cool. He played the turtle in Finding Nemo, and all that. Amazing, awesome. Amazing guys. So that's where and then I went to work for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival in Ashland, Oregon, and I was gonna come back.
For some reason, I thought it was Ohio, and I don't know why.
There is an Ashland, Ohio.
Yes.
We were talking before the stream, just making sure, prepping. I was like, this is all the stuff that we love talking about with them. And I said the Ohio Shakespeare Festival, and it just didn't feel right.
I think is that where you met Zach? Was in Ohio or no?
That's for Cole, a question for Cole? Or
no,
for me?
For you.
I met Zach here in LA, and then got to know him better over in England during the filming for Justice League.
I swear, Cole, I don't think you made that up. I also had Ohio in my head. So we're together.
You met Ray Fisher though at that.
Yeah, that's where you met Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher and Ray and I. It's funny. I had just left, but I met him there, but we never actually worked together there at the same time. I had left and he had come in. So
what a small world.
Yeah. Tiny world. I've grown fond of saying there's 11 actors on the planet. Everybody knows each other, particularly in the theater.
Out of all the Shakespeare festivals in the world, you guys both just happened to show up.
Yeah.
Same one, and then both end up in Justice League.
All the small towns, all the Shakespeare festivals in all the world. You have to come walking in. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Speaking of Shakespeare,
Yes.
There's a question from one of the girls who couldn't make it today. What's your favorite Shakespeare play? It was a Chelsea's question.
Wow, that's tough. You know, I think there's something to be found in all of them. I would say probably, it's something that changes, basically. If you'd asked me a few years ago, I would have said a different play. But I think right now, either The Winter's Tale or The Tempest would be my favorite.
Very nice.
Because of what goes on in there. But, if you'd asked me a couple of years, like when my career was just starting, Henry V and this. I mean, it changes constantly. That's what's great about Shakespeare is you can come back to it. And it's always sort of new. But I love the ideas of mercy as opposed to justice and the intertwining of time and all of that stuff. And it's, really present in The Winter's Tale and grace, kindness, and wrestling with who you once were and who you are now that you find in The Tempest, and yeah. But there's good stuff in all of the Shakespeare plays.
Have you heard about these websites that kids can use in high school, especially when they're studying Shakespeare? That is like a translation of Shakespeare from Old English to modern English.
Oh wow!
It was a big. I was in. It was like I graduated 10 years ago. Wow. Okay. Anyway. And existential crisis incoming. Anyway, and it was a big.
Don't even get me started, dude. Don't even get me started.
I was gonna say mine was like a lot further out than that.
Yeah, I mean, like to give you an idea, my diploma was steam powered. All right. So, my diploma was carved on a rock somewhere.
That's badass.
I'd like I would like one etched in stone. That'd be badass.
Heck yeah.
Hey, as my mother used to say, you can try anything once. You want to go out with your diploma and etch it in somebody, in stone? Go for it. Might even see you on the news.
Wait a minute. Didn't Zach build a workshop at the stone quarry?
He did.
Just saying. That might be what he's doing. He's etching everyone's.
And by the way, that face I just made is the one that's going to be like a still that will be all over the internet tomorrow.
Yep. Totally.
I have to not do that.
Along with Meg's dreamy face.
Totally.
There you go.
We used to play a game in college of try to come up with like the quickest possible blurb for Shakespeare plays, like a description like you would read in, here's what's on TV tonight or whatever. And so like, Hamlet was, young man comes home from college to find not everything's okay at home.
That's an understatement.
Right, exactly. And that was the whole point. It's like, yeah.
When I was in high school, though, those websites had just came about, and I remember being so frustrated with everyone else who were like, I can't understand Shakespeare. It's so confusing, and the language is so... And I'm like, really? And so my teacher would print out pages from this website to try to get the kids engaged to read it.
Well, the
and
thing
they
is...
reach the youth.
They'd read it out loud, and I'd be like, make it stop. Make it stop.
Thing about Shakespeare, and I did quite a lot of like school visits and talkbacks to students and that sort of thing. I mean, and I felt for these kids. I was happy to be working, and I'm living in a beautiful Ashland, Oregon's a beautiful place to live. And hey, it's clean air and clean water, and it's gorgeous out, and you get to go and do Shakespeare all damn day long. Sign me up. I mean, it was heaven. That wasn't really true for some of these poor kids that would get, slammed into a rickety yellow school bus at 0:30 in the morning, trundled up the interstate for 6 hours or more, then, plonked down in a dark theater and told to like behave and get some culture. I mean, I just thought it was really, it's asking a lot of a student to like get anything out of it. So we used to spend a lot of time talking about it because I had a real aversion to it as well growing up. It's like, why is he taking 4 pages to say I love her.
Yeah.
Can we just get on with it? I'm growing hair here.
She's worth 4 pages. That's why.
Yes.
So she's worth 4 pages. Yes, well done. But you know, you struggle with it, and especially because we're so accustomed now to just like quick information. And I mean, God, anymore, people literally read 3 words of a headline and then they're online indignant about it. And it's like, no, go back and read that's not what they said.
Yeah, literally read the article.
So we've gotten very accustomed to quick bite-sized bits of information. And so we don't understand the importance of rhetorical device and why things take such a long time. And when I try to explain to kids that, like, you know, we have CGI, we have special effects, we have explosions and monsters and cool lighting and bitchin' soundtracks and all of this other stuff. And Shakespeare had words.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to do all of that stuff.
And one gender to say them.
Well, yes. Sadly, yes.
Yeah. Shakespeare started the whole men in dresses thing.
That's right. That's right. And it's why anytime there's a wedding in a Shakespeare play, it's never an actual priest. Or if it is a priest, it never goes all the way through, because English law at the time was, if a wedding ceremony took place between you and that 14-year-old boy playing Dame Marion, whatever, if the right words were said by the right person, y'all were married.
Surprise!
So yeah, there was a lot of weird constraints. But you know, once you get into it, it's entertaining, but it takes a while. And the thing that I always try to tell people is, don't sit and analyze it and try to understand it. Just let it wash over you. If you leave your first couple of Shakespeare productions, you're like, I have no idea what happened. That's okay. Do try to come back. And allow, because it's about letting the sound and letting the words affect you. And, you know, I mean, a lot of it has, voice acting, right? You've got to convey so much with sound, with so much with, you know, all of that. So I do think it's valuable, and I do hope that there's more of it performed, especially in this country in the future. I think it does have a relevance. And it can be approached a lot of different ways. That's what's great. It's open to a lot of interpretation and things like that. But there's something about that really good language and the math of it that's really entertaining.
I've always loved Shakespeare.
And of course, hearing it in the original Klingon. Sorry, what?
I was saying I always loved Shakespeare so much. And when my brothers, who are a few years younger than me, would struggle understanding it, I would enjoy reading it to them to help them like understand it more. And like they would still not they'd be like, oh, I don't get it, because, and when you read it, it doesn't make any sense either. And it's like, you have to just take a moment and absorb what you're hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But it also puts you in really good, it prepares you really well for things like stories told in the realm of comic books. These huge, sweeping, giant, metaphysical, amazing stories that take place where it asks a lot of the audience, hey, believe this, and we're going to tell this story. She's gone sideways again.
And she's gone.
They're dropping like flies. What are you doing, Ray? You're not supposed to kill us.
Boring. Yet. Well, I came on here and people are like, hey, look, it's Darkseid, and he's yammering on about Shakespeare. Oh my God. I'd rather drink Novocaine. How boring.
No, I'm learning so much from you and your experience and your insight to Shakespeare, because
thank you.
With me in high school, it was something that was interesting, but my brain was always a science brain. But this is so amazing to hear. So keep talking about as much.
I mean, the reason why it's worth talking about is, as I was starting to say about comic books and about these big sweeping stories, is it's very much the same thing, where somebody is walking out in front of the audience saying, hey, it's time to believe this huge thing.
Yes.
And you either do or you don't. You're either like, come on, that's completely ridiculous and out of the realm of any possibility. Or you're like, okay, I'm in. Let's go.
Hi, Enoch. We see you.
How committed you are to telling that story
Tiff's
important.
husband is lurking in a pink onesie behind
about
her.
men and women's clothes.
He was talking about men and women's
what a
clothes, and so
fetching
he
outfit.
thought he would.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
just wait till you
fantastic.
see the whole thing.
You got to see the whole outfit.
Yeah.
It's mine,
That's
but he
nice.
rocks it.
Hello, Kitty. That's really, really nice, dude.
He even has Bruce.
Really nice. Nice.
I can't hear
I like
what he's
it.
saying.
He said nice.
Well, thank you, Ray.
likes
They
it.
told me I could come and say hi to you and meet you, but
How's it
I
going?
had to wear the outfit, and so
How's it going?
Oh,
it's going good.
you know what's
It's
funny?
totally
They told
worth
me
it.
the same
Totally
thing, and
worth
they told me the same thing. I just forgot to wear the outfit.
He said they told him the same thing. He forgot to wear his outfit.
My pink onesie is at the dry cleaners. I'm sorry.
The dry cleaner.
Now, that would be a sight. Darkseid in a pink onesie.
Heck yeah.
It's
I
a
want that
custom one because it has to be
Yeah.
8 feet tall.
Happy
Yes.
Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
You know,
A box of
any
apocalypse
fan
chocolates.
artists any fan artists out
Exactly.
there watching, please get on that. Put Darkseid in a onesie, please.
Yes.
I've got a friend who makes custom action figures.
Oh, yeah?
We
think
can
we'll
make
get
that
on
happen.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
we-
sounds brilliant.
We can put one of these in a onesie.
Yes.
Pink
Oh
onesie.
my God.
I don't know. This one might lend itself a little bit more.
This one looks more like a dress, though.
Yeah, I
There
know.
we
We're going
go.
for that
Kind
look.
of does. I've always thought that particular Darkseid, it's a little like mini skirt
Shakespearean,
Darkseid.
yes.
You know, like
It's
Go-go
sexy dark
boots.
side.
It's got a Roman,
Yeah.
it's got a Roman feel to it.
That version of Darkseid knows he's a bad bitch for sure.
Yes.
he is a
Exactly.
totally bad
Feeling
bitch.
himself.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That
Darkseid's-
word-
Darkseid's
in-
resting bitch face. There it is. Right there.
That's a hashtag if I ever heard one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
We'll make that trend.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Oh no.
Well, I just wanted to come in and say hi because I've been
Hey,
trying to
it's a
say hi to
pleasure
you
to
for a
meet
while.
Yeah. Good
Figured
to
I'd
see
make
you.
an impression so you remember who I am.
An
He's
impression.
never gonna
Yes.
forget.
No, you've definitely made an impression. I'm going to need years of therapy. So,
So what you're saying is I pretty much got to the Dark Lord himself.
By wearing pink.
By wearing pink.
Yeah,
Distractions.
absolutely. By invading your wife's cupboard and putting on something of hers, you have brought low the ruler of apocalypse.
As long as he doesn't look better than I do.
Hey,
True.
I'm not going to say a damn thing about that. I'm not going to. Really, who wore it better? I'm not ready
Exactly.
to do that. Yeah.
We'll put it on Twitter and let everyone else decide.
There we go.
Exactly. There we go.
there you go. No, I just want to say
Poindexter fashion
it's an
show.
honor to meet you. I mean, I'm excited,
Thank you.
obviously, about the fact that you're playing Darkseid, but like they've been talking about, you know, I mean, I've been a fan of your work, and so
Very
Just wanna
cool
say
of you
hi.
to say thank you. Hello.
all right.
Thanks a lot, man. I
We'll see
appreciate
y'all
it.
later. Have fun. I'm gonna go back with
Bye.
Bruce now.
Have fun.
All right.
I'm Tiffany's husband.
Bye.
Bye, Mr. Tiffany.
Yes, Mr. Tiffany.
Mr. Tiffany. There you go. I'll take it.
Well, we are sorry for that interruption.
I'm not. That was brilliant. Now I'm just.
We hope you're
Unfortunately, all I can think about is what the hell is he doing in the rest of the house now, Tiff? I mean, what's going on there? He
I don't
left
know.
petting that thing like I'm going to go back now. It's like I don't.
It's like his Dr. Evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, dear
that's
God.
beautiful.
therapy.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody mentioned earlier in the comments that being with like this moment where we get to all be in the presence of one of the greatest bad guys, right?
The
In
baddest bad
movie
guy.
history.
Yeah.
Somebody said something about Darth Vader, and I just quietly grabbed my Kleenex and started dabbing my eyes.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. It was a really nice comment. Hang on.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. This.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I really do hope people realize how big a deal being the first live action Darkseid is. Think the late great Dave Prowse and James Earl Jones with Vader. Truly believe Ray is 100% deserving of this.
I'm gonna cry.
Amanda, pass the Kleenex. He needs it.
Feeling a little
That's
bit
huge. That's
Here, hold on. There you go.
But it's true. It's really,
and here's a follow-up.
How crazy would it be if he actually pulled the tissue up?
From
that would have been awesome.
Darkseid was the biggest villain created by the king of comics himself. He needed a person with Ray's sophistication to be properly portrayed.
That's incredibly kind.
Aww.
And I'm struggling with a really healthy dose of imposter syndrome when I hear such amazing praise like that. The best I can do is hope to earn words like that, and so I'm immensely grateful. That's
not to link back to Tom Hanks or anything.
Yeah.
Earn this.
I think I can speak for the
that's
community
phenomenal.
when I say that, like, you know, the way that you interact with us fans and you know, everything that you have done in support of the cause and everything, we really, really appreciate it, and the fandom really adores you, right?
Well, it's mutual. You know, I didn't really encounter. I've talked about this in other interviews, and it's the reason why I keep bringing it up is that it really does matter to me. When, you know, the news finally sort of first got out, I didn't see a lot of, well, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I read one person, I think it was on Reddit, was like, no, they're going to get a real actor. And I'm like,
shame on them.
I'm not a real boy.
Okay, neckbeard.
but no, in general, the fandom was just like, oh, you're playing Darkseid? Great. Come on in. Welcome. What's up?
Nice.
You know, and it was that kindness. All I'm doing is reflecting the kindness that was shown to me from the very beginning of this. It's very easy to be grateful. And that's the overwhelm. Hey, now that's the deal. Is the unbelievable gratitude that I have over this entire thing is phenomenal. And talk about emotional roller coaster. You know, I was in the movie, then I wasn't in the movie, then I couldn't say anything about it, and then I could, and then it's up and down and up and down. And at the soul of the entire thing is a director and a producer, his wife, who are the kindest people you would ever meet, fundamentally kind people and artistic geniuses. And that kind of spreads, you know, and so finding it in the fandom and continuing that and furthering that has been absolutely marvelous. And my thank you is inadequate. There's not appropriate words for how grateful I am. And so to read comments like that, to be mentioned in the same headspace as Prowse and James Earl Jones, and you know, and that, I mean,
but that's where you're
enormous.
I know that we keep mentioning it to you, like me, Matt, Nana, and Meg, but like, because like that's what's coming for you. Like, you don't realize how big of a deal this is for us fans, that you like that this amazing, kind, humble human being is playing this incredible character, and this character is going to be the next big showstopper.
Yeah,
I hope so.
You
hope so. That would be
100%. There's no
like,
doubt.
I hope so.
You're literally going to be up there with Vader. Like we cannot even think of the
There's
world
no doubt.
No pressure.
Now imagine right at the last minute, I'm replaced by Gilbert Gottfried.
You're replaced if you got replaced for boycotting, just saying.
Most appreciated, Sean. Thank you. Very kind. Thank you.
I think
half the reason I burst into tears watching the trailer was because I realized that's you on the screen, and I was like, "It's finally happened for him."
I got to say that was one of the most entertaining watches of that entire that whole time period. Because I mean, I saw the trailer and I loved it, but for me, it was going to watch the reactions of fans and the people who've been down in it, you know, since early on in the movement. The whole reason why I'm able to be here talking to you now is because of the movement and because of various people within the fandom. And so to be able to watch those reaction videos and share in that joy,
yes,
absolutely
please.
donate to the Autumn Snyder Fund.
Yeah, I just saw this comment, so I
Absolutely.
figured I'm gonna just let you guys know the link for the fund is actually in the description of this video. So if you'd like,
Great.
you can go there
Yeah.
straight from the description. We are less than 20,000 away from the goal, so if you can
Oh my
afford it,
God.
please donate. If you can't, at least please share further so that we can do so.
Absolutely. Meet that goal quickly.
So,
go ahead, Fatma.
No,
Yes.
go on, Meg. You wanted to say something, so
You go first.
Please,
Okay.
Fatma.
So we were there when Zach dropped the Darkseid shirt, so that was amazing. How was your reaction when you saw the Darkseid shirt? And how many do you have?
Good.
Because and the one thing that I'm glad about this campaign is that they have long sleeve shirts. So as a hijabi, it makes my life
Yes.
times easier. But also,
Yes.
I have it coming soon. I'm waiting for it patiently. But what was your reaction to the drawing and the illustration that was
I ordered 5.
Yes.
I have 5 of them coming.
I don't know if I said it before the stream or during the stream, but I was like, "Did you show Ray?" He's like, "Oh, I should text him," and he texted.
Yeah, and I got the
It was
text.
during the stream. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah,
And
I got the
he
text.
was like,
like,
"Oh
what
yeah,"
is
he
this?
responded, and he turned the phone.
Yeah.
We're like, "Wow, did you show Ray?" And he's like, "Oh, I should text him."
Yeah, and he totally did. Yeah, it was very funny because I got that text. I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I want to bring this comment back.
Can I see some Omega beams?
I'd be worried if you could do that in real life.
Everybody avert your eyes.
It's the best I could do. Sorry.
But I believe this was supposed to be 1st of January 2021, not 2012. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, we need to go back.
Wait a minute. Maybe
back
he's in
in
the
time.
time stream. He's in the time stream.
You were saying something, Meg?
No, I was I just think it's like piggybacking off of everyone saying how like cool it is to see you interact with people. I think my favorite thing that you do on Twitter is whenever you get tagged in like artwork or general appreciation like for you and the character, you always respond. And I don't think you really know how much like that means to these people. Like,
well, it's just good manners, I think.
Well, yeah.
You know, especially I mean, the art stuff just blows my mind, the creativity and the diversity of art that I've seen. And
we have some here. We have this one.
I know.
Oh my God. We have a few artworks from Ras. That's how
we're
it's
looking.
He told us how to. I asked him how to pronounce his name, and I know I can't do it, so we'll just call him Raz.
It's Rosenul. Rosenul. Yep.
I love that one too. Yeah, see, I mean, cool. Raz's style is phenomenal. That one.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's you.
He made me look a hell of a lot better than I really do. That's and then that one, I ordered that shirt already. That's fantastic.
Yes. Nice.
You know, but it's funny because I've got, you know, some of the artwork I went and ordered. The other thing too is people have been really, really kind about like, you know, I'd love to give you this art piece. And it's like, no, you're an artist. I'd love to pay you for this art piece.
Yeah.
That's how this is supposed to work, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been great. It's very important for me to acknowledge when somebody has done something like that. I mean, even insofar as, I don't know if anybody saw on Twitter the other day, you know, there was a kid, I think, who was like, I got bored doing homework, and so I drew this, and it was this Darkseid drawing with my name and all of that. And I was, that's really cool. Finish your homework.
Yeah.
I did. It was like, all right, good. But that's important. Yes. And people are so kind, and they don't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate the effort. And the absolute least I can do is say thank you. So, and it's a privilege to be able to do that. So, yeah.
Well, Ray, I actually have a question for you. Is with all the voiceovers that you do for all of the movies, the video games, you know, the acting, Shakespeare, all of it. As like a random question, what fictional character would you say is most like you? If you could pick, you know, whether it's someone that you voiced or someone that you'd like to, or just any fictional character who's like you.
Yeah. Okay. There's an author named Jonathan Mayberry who wrote, he's written a series of books involving a character called Joe Ledger. Okay. And from the very first book, I was like, he talks like I do. As far as indisposition and snarkiness and or wit and that kind of thing, I'd say probably Joe Ledger is. I'm pretty close to him. So if you don't know who that is, look it up.
Here's your homework.
Joe Ledger series. Yeah, Jonathan Mayberry.
Is it on Audible yet?
It is. Yes. There's like 10, 11, 12 Joe Ledger books. Plus, he appears in other stories and things like that. That Jonathan Mayberry is a very, very prolific writer.
Yeah.
And has written some really fun stuff. Stuff I didn't narrate, stuff I wasn't involved in. The Rotten Ruins series, which is post-apocalyptic zombies, that kind of thing. Brilliant.
Very cool.
He's a really, really fun writer. But yeah, so he created this character, and I think I'm somewhere between. There's another character he wrote called Monk Addison, and I think I live somewhere in between those two guys, Joe Ledger and Monk Addison.
Very cool.
And this is the moment where we find out you were actually the inspiration for both.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I wish I could say that. But no. Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, there's always that thing of like, what character would you like to be like you? And what character are you really like? You know, and sometimes they're not the same.
It's rarely they're not the same.
You know, like exactly. Like I think I'm Batman, and I'm like not even Snoopy. So it just kind of depends.
I feel like for me at least, it's never just one character. It's usually a conglomeration of characters that I really love that end up I love them because I can relate to different aspects of their personality.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's also that aspect of like, God, I wish I'd said that. That's really, I admire that. I mean, that's why there's such great diversity and the more diverse the storytelling is, the better, because that's an opportunity for more people to identify with that character.
Yes.
True.
Not that I necessarily want everybody to identify with. I don't want some child looking at Darkseid going, I want to be him when I grow up.
Too late. Too late.
Are you ready to see little kids at Halloween sometime?
Oh my God.
Dressing the Darkseid?
Yeah.
Because I thought one of the funniest things I heard in an interview was Adam Driver talking about how he plays Kylo Ren. And
really? Oh, I'll have to look him up.
Sorry, not everyone knows this. Oh my God.
Sorry, hold on. I couldn't hear you under my rock. Let me. What did Kylo Ren you speak up?
Burn. Darkseid.
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't come out here to get absolutely roasted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cole, you better get some.
So yeah. So Adam
how
Driver seeing
crazy
kids?
It was that kids in his apartment building, his high rise, would all dress as Kylo for Halloween, and they'd come running up to him and hitting him with lightsabers, and he would be so excited, but he'd also be like, "This is so bizarre."
It's weird, isn't it? I remember, when you do Midsummer Night's Dream, invariably there's some small child who's in a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, and they come to you with a sense of ownership. I played Puck. I remember once I played Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream, and I came out, and a 7-year-old girl walked over to me and was like defiant, like, I played Puck.
She did.
I was like, okay. And she, and in that scene when you do this and this and this, I went, yeah. She goes, I did this and this. I was like, that's a brilliant idea. I'm going to steal that.
She's like, take notes. Take notes.
And you did.
But it's that thing. It's that thing, Cole, where people feel, like I said, they feel a sense of ownership of those characters, and that's marvelous. It's amazing that when you play a role, and somebody takes it and runs with it, and makes it theirs. That's really, it's surreal and strange and wonderful and kind of humbling and really cool.
Well, I hope you know that, like, the moment I start seeing stuff like cosplays pop up, I will be sending them to you. Be like, oh,
please.
Yes.
No, I definitely want to see that. I definitely want to see that. I'm you know, I've said it before, but and I think I said it to you guys like a Justice Con, but the first thing when I found out that I was playing this role, my first two thoughts were, oh my God, I get to go to cons and meet fans, and I wonder if there'll be a toy. Those were my first two thoughts. Because it was about, oh God, I get to meet people.
I mean, you did go to a con, you got to meet a couple of weirdos.
I've got my I got my guys on the bookshelf in the other room. I have a custom made Funko of me that I'm very proud of. That I'm terribly proud of.
Yes.
Cool.
That person right there. There we go.
Every time, right?
She's so amazing. I've said this on a stream before, but she made one of me with a hijab as well. Like, she made it custom.
Aww.
It's so endearing, honestly.
That's wonderful.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
wonderful.
Yeah,
How do we
I mean,
back
a
here?
hijab on a Funko. It's got to be.
I'm so frustrated to find out that there are no Funko characters at this time with a hijab on.
That's
It pissed me off so much, but I ended up finding one with a hood and worked with it from there, and it worked out great. But still, it's just, if anything I've learned from doing this the last year, is that Funko needs to really diversify. They need to get their shit together. Because they either do.
You heard it here first.
I was gonna say, can you say that in like an intimidating voice?
I'm not intimidating. He can say it. Listen, people.
I'm not going to say it because it'll show up on a blog somewhere.
Right.
There you go.
Angry reporter yells at Funko, and I get some, like cease and desist from the Funko company. We're never making one of you now, dude. No, I agree though. I mean, but that's always the challenge, isn't it? You want to make movies and plays and toys and all of those things that resemble the world. And it's a challenge, but people are starting to make steps. Thank goodness for people like you, Cole, who are like, no, this is wrong. I'm going to make this right.
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I want to see it. Where is it, Fatman? Do you have it handy?
No, I don't have it yet.
It's down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cole, go and grab it.
Didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, but yeah.
I'll show you a picture, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see.
I just want everyone to know that my dad is watching. So hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Meg's dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Mr. Wonder. It's very nice to meet you.
Mr. Wonder.
Mr. Wonder. That's the greatest thing ever.
No, he's a really big Superman fan, and he thinks that Superman could take on Darkseid by himself. I've told him numerous times that's not going to happen. So,
Dad, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah, Dad. Teamwork, Dad. Come on.
Teamwork makes dream work. Yeah. What some comic book scholar will be able to tell me, is there not a thing where Superman subdues Darkseid at least on his own?
I'm sure. I
think there is. That's ringing a bell somewhere.
I think there is in Justice League Unlimited, like the show, the cartoon.
Okay, yeah. No, I thought. Why did I think it was
someone
in
in chat's gonna know?
Somebody will know. That's what's great about this, is that any kind of question you have about this nature, you'd be like, yeah, well, no, you'll find that it's this and this and this, and it was done by this artist, and it was, yeah. See, okay.
Yeah, no, they didn't find it yet, but it's coming. I'm sure somebody's gonna dig it up.
Yes, very cool.
So to piggyback, that was such a great question, Tiff, by the way. To piggyback off of that, I almost when you started, I was like, is she Is she asking the question that I wanted to ask?
Well, some people answered my question,
Boom,
so
there
I
you
was like,
go.
I'm
Point
taking
Extra
one.
Lounge. Thank you.
There
Thank you.
Yes.
He
Thank
took
you,
off the
Mr.
pink
Tiffany.
onesie and put on
Give the man in the cat suit a cigar. That's fantastic. Yeah, I thought so.
Buy that man a onesie.
Exactly.
Mhm.
If you could take your soul and put it into a physical being, a form of a human, so meaning gender is irrelevant, appearance is irrelevant, what role would you want to play on the stage?
The stage? God, there's a list. You know, it's like an IKEA catalog of characters that I would love to do. You know, ones that people like to see. And in movies as well, you know, there's that thing of like, gosh, I wish I could have gotten to be in that skin. I mean, honestly, even if it was just in the background swinging the lightsaber around just to say that I played a Jedi in a Star Wars thing would be like my most favorite thing in the world, you know.
You would be
my friend Kim Rhodes got to be on Star Trek and got to stand on the transporter, and I'm unbelievably jealous of her because of that.
That's awesome.
You know, there's these like legendary, iconic things like that. Gosh, there's a lot. I mean, you know, I love Wonder Woman. I love everything that character can do, and everything. And the way that Gal portrays that character is so fantastic and wonderful. And you know, it's. I mean, you know, I find here. Hey, fantastic! Oh, I love it.
I love the little.
I made her wonder
out at the top.
That's a really great question, and it's a really huge question, you know, because there's so many different elements of so many different characters and so many different sort of people that I admire. Do I want to? I'm
happy to make it a lifelong conversation. We can just
we can sit here for hours.
We'll come back to this. That'd be yeah.
You would be so cool in Star. I was just thinking you'd make a really cool Darth Bane. Tiff, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. It's the it's the blue guy.
Yeah,
I'd
love
another blue guy.
Yeah,
it is.
Is it Star Wars?
You're just gonna have to be blue
Star
or
Wars
gray forever.
There you go.
Blue and gray. I'm fine with that. That's a color combination I don't mind at all.
Yondu made blue cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that Darkseid in the Nightmare Timeline, how do you picture that, Ray? I don't know. Let's go. Let's do it.
Heck yeah.
He's probably sitting on a throne.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, if Darkseid's in the Nightmare Timeline, he's sitting on a throne of skulls.
Yeah, he won, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of caused the Nightmare Timeline, I think. So
that's put your feet up and order a pizza. You know, time.
Well, let's just hope that he didn't close all the pizza shops then.
Yes.
Well, no, exactly.
One place.
30 minutes or
only
less.
Business that's open in the Nightmare Timeline is a pizza shop.
Yes.
There you go.
Apocalypse, Domino's. This is Trevor. Right. Okay.
Ran by
Guys
just
ordering
parademons.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Some stressed out delivery driver just like
They just throw it at the door and leave.
Yeah.
I have a question from one of our League of Mayhem members, Lorena, and she would like to know if you had the power to take over Darkseid's body, would you?
Yes.
I already did.
Yeah.
Like, if you could like control what he's doing without being the actor, like you see him fucking shit up and you could take control, would you?
Ask me that when I'm in heavy traffic in LA during rush hour.
Oh my God!
The answer would differ heavily from the
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we tried the LA traffic rush hour, and I completely agree with you.
It'd be great to have some Omega beams, just like, boom, here you go, another timeline. Bye-bye.
Yep. Someone cut you off.
You can actually get somewhere on time now.
Totally.
What's Darkseid's favorite pizza topping?
Yeah. Okay, we're going back to this again.
You do not have to mention.
We already covered this. No.
At least you're aware
nice
of this.
Try.
I'm really afraid of like one of the actors from the movie that doesn't have social media. They're gonna like slip that into like someone like Ben Affleck or Henry Cavill who don't know about it, and then all of a sudden the pineapple on pizza thing is gonna start again.
God.
At least you're aware.
You're like, make it stop, please.
I mean, the worst thing was, and this was when this actually is not a relevant, not a terribly irrelevant, not a terribly irrelevant topic to talk about, just as far as my own personal sort of learning experience. I usually in my mind, I'm just some dude who, I mean, people have been very nice to me and I'm being very nice to them and stuff like that. But I don't think in terms of anything that I say having weight or gravitas or even mattering in the way that it might, Mm-hmm. And so somebody asked me my preference regarding a certain, shall we say, fruit item on a certain Italian bread-like pie thing. Mm-hmm. and I voiced my personal preference as if we were all sat around about to order some pizza. Well, it became news and it turned into this thing. I was like watching every day like, oh my God, oh God. And what I took away from it was be careful what you say,
You're like,
even on something as mundane as that, just, tread lightly. It was a bit of a learning experience.
Well, I remember during JusticeCon when we asked Darkseid or Thanos, and of course you said Darkseid, and like instantly there was like articles written.
I know.
Darkseid actor says he could kick Thanos' ass.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And all I'm thinking about is like a knock on the door and there's Josh Brolin going, "Really, dude? Really?"
Like, no, I don't
hi, I'm a big fan. Yeah, I mean,
come in, let's order a pizza. It's the only place open.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I remember I said Darkseid because he doesn't have to bring a special glove, and
it's still
boy did that explode all over the place.
Like,
it was priceless. Like,
you were just speaking truth, though. That's the problem. You're just speaking truth.
I did some research actually online recently. I was just curious for myself, learning more than anything else. And the question was raised, Darkseid versus Thanos, and just reading this sort of general speculation among people who are a hell of a lot smarter about this stuff than I am. And I felt vindicated, although no one made a snarky comment about a special glove. So
you're not going to answer Kong versus Godzilla is what I'm getting.
Oh God. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
I can't even answer that because I love both of them.
I'm going to say Godzilla.
Yeah,
baby Rex arms are gonna beat opposable thumbs. Nay, we are the kings of the animal kingdom.
Amanda, I respect and I love you, but Godzilla ripped someone's head off and vomited plasma down their throat.
There you go.
And
Amanda, I absolutely love you.
No,
but it's Godzilla.
I will.
He's
go
the king
down
of
with this.
all monsters.
You're going to die on this hill?
Yes. That's okay. I'll plant my flag. Let me go get one. I find somewhere to plant it. I just like the idea of Like, I thought about it for about 10 seconds and my mind immediately went opposable thumbs. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. So, you know, sometimes
they do come in handy.
But you do make a very solid point there. I mean, opposable thumbs, that little thing makes
you can choke
difference,
out someone before they nuclear breathe down your throat if you have opposable thumbs. I'm just saying. And they don't have T-Rex on, so they can't stop you.
Please, please, please make a bumper sticker of you can choke out someone before they nuclear breathe down your throat. I want that.
Hate when that happens.
I want that.
For the LA traffic.
This week's top tip from Amanda: you can choke out someone before they nuclear breathe.
It looks like our live chat here is pretty equally split down the middle.
Oh, are people chiming? Of course, people are chiming. And what am I thinking?
Well, whoever's out there that's an artist, you know what you can do now? Make the bumper sticker.
Yes.
No. Okay. You ready for me to break the internet?
Yes.
What type of pizza would Kong order?
Oh my god.
That's easy. Banana pizza.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now we have a whole new argument on our
hands.
Which
exists. And by the way, I love bananas, but I would never eat it on pizza. That's a crime against humanity.
Banana pizza.
Wait, what? Anyway.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's a bit disorienting.
I like how that's sinking into everyone.
I don't know. I love both Kong and Godzilla, and I would try to mediate so that they don't have to kill each other and somehow completely coexist.
I'm imagining how that would have gone.
They just hug it out.
I would have gotten my head ripped up.
They go squashed. They wouldn't even notice you were there. You would just
like a fly.
Like, guys, can we
no? Kong's like holding you and like finding some real common ground with Godzilla. Godzilla pulls out a cigarette and Kong's like, oh, you need a light? Oh God. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
My bad.
Whoops.
Tries to put it back on.
Fried plantains on pizza sounds actually kind of amazing. I have like a real weakness for like Caribbean food and coca beans and rice, plantains, that sort of thing.
My dad makes the best fried plantains. I'm gonna challenge.
That sounds really fun.
Nice.
You can do them sweet or you can do them salty like potato chips.
Exactly.
We do
the chips are so good.
They're so damn good.
We do them we basically do them without anything extra. We just fry them and then you put a little salt on them, and with rice and beans, it's just perfect.
Nice.
Do you do coconut milk in the rice and beans?
No, not always.
We coconut milk.
We did that once or twice. Well, where I live, it's impossible to get stuff like that fresh.
Oh.
So maybe.
Sounds like a new cooking show, Cooking with Darkseid.
Cooking with Darkseid.
Well, Darkseid
gonna host
on food with perfect.
It's a real good thing.
This week we're going to do Cajun grilled civilization.
Oh my god.
Roasted plantains.
Oh my god.
Today we're going to make earth s'mores.
Fatma's our resident foodie, so you could do the show with her. Food with Fatma.
Man. Fatma lives in a country that has, in my opinion, some of the best food around.
Well, she lives in Manchester.
I know, but I love food in the UK. I really, really do.
It's funny because I feel like I hear the opposite from so many people.
That's the thing. That's like that myth, I mean, I remember a friend of mine was like, oh, you're traveling to the UK, bring your own food. And I think that immediately after World War II, when everybody was on rations and stuff like that, I mean, the food may have been like, I boiled it. But things have gotten a whole lot more diverse. I remember my first sort of street food was in Watford, and I walked up to this food cart and I had jerk chicken wrapped in naan bread, and it was
jerk
absolutely amazing, genius, brilliant.
I enjoy an outfit in Camden Town like this. when I get to London, when I go to Camden Town, they have the market there, and it's like I enjoy it so much. And it's funny because my uncle went to UK once, and he was like, him and his wife, they've seen like a whole bunch of stuff, but when he came back, all he talked about was the food, which he usually does. But anyway, he was boasting about the Camden Market, and I knew about it because obviously I live here, so I've been there a couple times. Whenever I get to London, I usually go. But then my mom came over and we did a London trip. So I took her to Camden just like to show her around and stuff. And we walked through that, like the food aisle that's there. And people were like, people shout at you and offer you food, like offer you taste for free and stuff. So basically when you get to the end of it, you're pretty much full and you don't even have to buy anything.
The Costco effect.
And
Yes.
And my mom was like, no wonder he likes it. He liked it here so much.
Just giving free food. To me, one of my most favorite things about traveling is finding, the place where it's like, well, I if I go to a strange city, if I go to a new city in a different country or whatever, I'll try to find someone who lives there and not ask, hey, where's a good place to eat? Because, there's where you send the tourists and that kind of thing. I want to know where you go with a friend on a Tuesday night for dinner. That's what I want to eat.
One of the best meals I ever had. One of the best burgers I ever had was at a hostel in London, and they made it was delicious. But then they also had each burger paired with a specific beer from their pub, and it was just perfection. Everything is so perfect.
I just think it's so important to scrambled exist. Very, very good. Well done. Very good. I like that. That's definitely going in the cookbook, Darkseid cookbook.
Well played.
I'm dying.
All of your biscuits shall be mine. So, but I think that there's that thing about like challenging yourself as well. Of what's local here that maybe I've never ever had, and you find some really wonderful extreme things, and it's a very easy way and a very non-threatening, non-challenging way really to explore diversity in culture, diversity in heritage and that sort of thing. It's not that difficult.
Support people from that culture who are usually the ones owning and running that establishment.
Right. Also, honestly, I'm keenly aware as Americans. I remember when my son was quite little, and he said, "What's Canada?" And I said, "That's where we say we're from when we travel." Because
oh my God.
There's that sort of typical myth of like, the Americans travel and they go to the hotel, where's the subway? And they don't ever actually do anything. And they're kind of in their spacesuit without really trying stuff. And I think we have an opportunity, if we're traveling from America, to be like, no, I want, let me get some curried goat, in Jamaica. Let me try this. What is this thing that you really like? Okay, I will try it. The more that all of us can do that, the more there's kind of a shared community thing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Have you had frog legs?
Yes, I've had frog legs. Hell yes, I have. Did you need to get up close to the camera to tell me that?
Yes, you did.
Because I felt like I was in trouble. It was like, have you had frog legs? It's like, oh God, what if I say yes? Am I going to be in trouble?
Yeah.
That's just the mother's gravitas.
You're going to the
But I mean, the delight on a friend of mine's face when he was like, mate, you don't want to try jelly eel. And I'm like, well, I'm here. I better.
Yes.
My God, it's awful. But I tried it.
When Nana comes to visit, she always cooks dinner for my family and something traditionally Czech, and my family loves it. even if they don't actually if there's a meal or two, and even if there's like a meal or two that they don't actually like, they love the fact that that's part of what she loves to do when she comes and shares her culture with them. And
But also think about every place you've traveled, and think about like that one time you were traveling in some strange place and you had something that was so delicious. You will remember that all of the days of your life. And what a wonderful thing, you know.
Now, Ray, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
My question is, especially to go back to the movies that we were talking about, what would you say was the most challenging role that you've played that you kind of had to like psych yourself out and kind of get into the mindset of that character out of all the people that you've played?
Tiff said enough food.
If you're asking some damn good questions, you're asking really, really good questions. I think they're all, I mean, it sounds like a cop out, but they all, I mean, if it's a really good role, it really requires something. I mean, obviously I had to like get in a certain headspace for the Lord of Apocalypse. I had to get in a certain headspace, you know, for all of these different characters and what, you know, what do you do there? I mean, you know, I've said before, you know, bad guys never think that they're bad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just, you know, there's this thing that I want, and I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to get my thing. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Jessica Rabbit.
Yes. Well done.
Yeah.
She said that, sorry.
She is bad too.
She is.
I think a good role should require that you need to do a bit of adjusting and a bit of headspace and getting out of yourself. That's where all the good stuff is, those gray areas, those places that are unfamiliar and you know, okay, hate to do a tie-in, but it's a little like walking out into a strange city, into a strange restaurant and trying something you've never ever had. When you're an actor and you're playing a role, I think it's important for actors, because nobody's going to do it for you and nobody's going to tell you to do it necessarily. You have to do it yourself. You've got to challenge yourself. You have to take yourself down those really dark alleys that are weird and you don't know what's down there and it smells funny, because you may discover something there that makes all the difference between a really good, memorable performance or something kind of pedestrian.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And talking about roles and things that you have to find yourself in. So when you get into a new voice role in particular, and you find a new character that you're trying to portray, and they might not be within the same vocal range that you're used to, and you need to, and obviously you understand the character and where they come from, and you've read a lot about them. So what is your process? What are your processes for you to find that element in your voice that you think best portrays that character?
Yeah.
So especially when you hear such great animation in a lot of the voice actors, including, you know, yourself, how is that process, and what voice I don't know, exercises or whatever it is in your repertoire?
There are a lot of different things that you can do, and I can say I always feel very funny being called a voice actor, just because I know some voice actors who are, I've had the privilege of working with some voice actors who are absolute gods in that industry, and I can't begin to touch what some of them are doing. I mean, you know, if you're interested in voices, let's say for animation or that kind of thing, look up Frank Welker. I did one episode of Curious George, and Frank Welker was the voice of Curious George. Now, Frank Welker is a gentleman in his like 50s, 60s, something like that, and he's doing the voices of this. You know, there's just this constant working the muscle, constant, you know, changing malleability, that sort of thing. You take an actor like Tom Kenny. I haven't had the privilege of working with him, but watching, you know, what he does as a voice actor, holy God. Yeah. And you know, you do have to have a certain fluidity and a certain technique with what you're doing. And some of these people are unbelievable. And a lot of it's about finding your own voice, really, you know, within that, like finding what is my range, what can I do? And you hope that you have a director that will challenge you. You hope that you have, you know, in my case, I took a class to work on, you know, just as a mental approach to that kind of thing. Obviously, something like Darkseid, I treated as a role. You know, I mean, you know, Kieran and I were doing a play. We were doing a scene. together. We just happened to be in lycra suits with headgear on, but we were acting with each other and Peter, and we were, so it wasn't really the headspace of like voice acting. It was just playing the scene, which I guess you kind of do as a voice actor as well. But I have so much admiration for people whose bread and butter is voice acting, animation, games, that kind of thing. Yep. It's incredibly challenging work, and to be able to get to a place of expertise where you sustain yourself in that line of work, I think is formidable and worthy of respect.
Yes.
If did you ever have trouble taking each other seriously, you and Peter and Kieran, when you guys were in your funny pajamas?
Well, when we were standing around in our lycra suits beforehand, yes, there may have been one or two like jokes, and that kind of thing.
I don't know if I could I don't know how scary you guys would be. Like if I looked at you guys and you were just in your pajama suits and you were being Darkseid and Step and everything, I'd be like,
See, that's exactly, and that's one of those things where, in a private moment when you're maybe before you start or whatever, it's like, it's a really fetching look on you, kind of thing. Once you get into it, once you're doing the scene, you've got a massive amount of people working on the crew. You've got the director, you've got the writer, you've got the producer, you've got all of these people who have worked so hard just to set up this shot you're about to do. If you don't bring your A game 110% as an actor, then you are disrespecting all of the endeavors of those people who don't appear in front of the camera. It's a big responsibility, and you treat it that way. As such, sure, there's jokes and it's funny and all of that stuff. And when it's time to handle your business, you handle your business.
So how do you get into that headspace? Is there like a song you listen to get you in the Darkseid mood or something?
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Well done. Very nice. I like it. That's nice.
That was.
I'm here all day.
Yeah. I found that Rebecca Black Friday really was. Mostly because it filled me with the kind of rage that made me want to destroy the earth.
About everything.
That is entirely valid.
No, I'm kidding. No, I didn't really use any music or whatever. I mean, honestly, Zach as a director and as in creating this story, and Chris Terrio, and built this world in such a way that you don't necessarily need. I mean, it's nice if you want to listen to something before to sort of get you in the space. That's fine. But, everything you need is right there in the script. Everything you need is right there in the scene. Everything you need is right there reflected back because you're working with really, really amazing, wonderful, talented actors. So, and there's a lot of music that I think would be suitable for listening to right before Darkseid, but it's stuff that I listen to all the time anyway.
Right.
So,
I have a question about the news of HBO Max releasing all of their 2021 movies on their streaming service.
I believe Mr. Nolan had a bit of an issue with that, didn't he?
He did. I would like to get your opinion kind of on that, and also just the movie going experience going forward as is, since you're an actor. So
I've got so many friends who work in live theater and who work in events, who work as riggers on rock shows and lighting people and set people, and who've been unemployed since March, basically. So many friends in the theater who just simply aren't working. So many theaters around the country, so many venues around the country that are just empty. It's depressing as hell. It's awful. It is also a condition of the world right now with the pandemic. And obviously there's, a lot of different issues that one could bring to bear, to address it. But the truth is that it's an incredibly depressing time for a lot of people who work in this industry. It's also depressing for people who like to attend events and who like to go to movies, who like to sit in a darkened theater with popcorn and a bunch of strangers and, and believe something together for a couple of hours. And I can't wait until we're all able to do that again. That's going to be a hell of a party.
Yeah.
But until then, these stories, people want to hear these stories. People want access to these stories.
Yeah.
And if it's, I don't know, I can't speak to the larger business issues around it or whatever, but if HBO Max is saying, you know what, we don't know if the movie theaters are going to be open at this time, so we're going to bring it to you, and I think that's fine. I do. I'm not a director. I'm not an auteur. I don't understand that. I'm just somebody who's like, God, I'd really like to see that movie, but I'm scared to go to the theater right now. I don't want to do that. In that case, I'm down. I'm happy with that idea. So
yeah, personally, I'm incredibly grateful to HBO Max for doing and Warner Brothers for doing that, because even if they put something in the cinema, I can't go. My health does not permit me. So everyone in the room has seen Tenet, but I can't go out and see that. So the fact that they're putting things on the streaming service, for people like me who've had to be stuck literally in your house for the majority of the week since March, it's such an exciting thing. So it's I get to enjoy this stuff again. And sometimes you have to adapt to the situation, and we'll hopefully, once the government gets its shit on the road, we'll get our theaters back, and we'll get a vaccine, and we won't have to be afraid to go see the cinemas. And hopefully they can hang on.
I mean, I can understand why a director or a writer might have an issue with exactly that. Maybe not so much the idea that it's happening, but how that idea is being executed. And I simply don't know enough about the situation to really weigh in. I'm glad that things are going to get seen. One movie in particular, I'm really glad it's going to get seen.
I don't know what that is.
What movie would
a
that
little
be?
project.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Police Academy 12.
Fast and Furious 84.
No,
that
it was
even a Wonder Woman
actually,
reference. It's a big number.
It's actually really fun. Enosh, Tiffany's husband, put together an event that we in Michigan. He rented out a theater, and we watched Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
And it was so I hadn't seen a movie since probably February or March.
Yep. Same.
And it felt like such a strange experience to do again. I mean, we got there, we had our masks on, we were just sitting there, and I was like, I'm really about to watch a movie in the theater, for the first time in
I have imagined, what it's going to be like the first time that, we know that it's safe. We're totally out of the woods. It's all good. And I'm standing in an arena someplace, and the lights drop and the band is about to start and that roar goes up, and I'll probably be weeping.
Yeah,
I would too.
It was such a cool experience. I mean, just to sit there again and watch a movie, something you had something to look forward to, and that's what I'm excited about with this HBO Max thing, is that we never knew when we were going to get to see some of these movies. They were just on perpetual delays. So it's gotten me and a lot of other people very excited to actually watch a movie again. Not something that we've seen before. It's something new. It's something exciting.
I just want everybody to get well so we can all go out and play together again. Damn it!
I know.
Wear a mask, wash your hands.
We're gonna have to invite you to the next one then, Ray, because you would have loved it. We had lightsabers. We had 25
Dude,
lightsabers.
I would love to be there for that. Are you kidding? I'll bring my own. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, I'm currently learning a lot about Star Wars and the Star Wars universe. I'm doing a little weekly watch thing, and it's so
awesome.
endearing that I'm finally going to understand all of these references.
So great.
And it's so strange that at this age that I hadn't watched it so far.
But how exciting and fun at this age that you're hitting it for the first time.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I could forget what it was like to watch episode 4 the first time back in 77, because that's how old I am, I would.
I watched it for the first time last Friday.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That's a moment.
Yes.
And you know what? You get the thing. You get to live it for the first time. The stuff that we've already had and wish we could go back to.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, like I was watching Star Wars over the weekend with my dad because TNT just plays the marathon almost every weekend, and he was marveling at how excited I get, even though I've seen the movies a dozen or so times, and I'm like, it's just one of those things, like Harry Potter, Star Wars, like DC Comics movies. Like these are all things that like I can watch thousands of times and still be excited. When Meg told us she was going to see Empire in a cinema, I was like, you bitch. I want to go.
I mean, nothing beats that opening the scroll in like surround sound for
actually hearing the drum beats from the 21, and it's like you don't get that anymore because of the change, and it was awesome.
Like when the first Star Wars movie I saw in a cinema was Revenge of the Sith, and then we never knew if it would come back again for years. So like that was it for me. That was the one time. And I think I cried more at the opening of The Force Awakens, like seeing the crawl and the music, than I did at the whole movie.
I think that we should have a whip round and everybody chip in. We need to get Fatma a lightsaber.
Oh yeah,
Heck yeah.
I'll have to get one. So I'm watching it with a person with this amazing guy called Sean, and he showed me his lightsaber, and he's been walking me and guiding me through this awesome universe. And it's just been so amazing, and like everyone is so excited about it. And I see Darth Vader and R2-D2 behind you, Tiff, and it's just I can't. Well, I know I'm
where they can find it.
I felt like a kid because I turned 40 this year, and for my 40th birthday, my husband surprised me and took me down to Galaxy's Edge in Disney World. So my very first lightsaber was the one I got to make, and I made it, and they were, and it's not just, hey, here's the stuff, make a lightsaber. It was like, here, you're choosing your holocron, you're choosing everything, and I'm like in tears, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
She's actually bringing her stand. No.
Nice.
Nice. I was at the London premiere of Batman versus Superman, waiting for the film to start, and just kind of standing, stretching my legs, and I turned to my right, and Mark Hamill was there.
Oh my gosh!
Speaking of voice actors,
I know, right? Really? I know. Like the uber voice actor of all, but
he's like
I looked at him and I couldn't stop staring, and he kind of like there's this hairy dude staring at me, and he kind of looks at me. I was like, it's so stupid. I'm so dumb. I get so starstruck over things. I was just like, you're amazing.
Be like Joey from Friends. How you doing?
He was so kind. He was, thank you. It was nice, but oh my God. I mean, that's enormous. That's my childhood.
I would have literally, exactly. That's what I'm always saying, that he literally is like in every aspect of my childhood except Harry Potter. He was in Star Wars. He was in Batman. He was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Those are the three biggest things that like formed me as a young nerd. It's like, I hope to meet him one day, and I will cry.
Yeah. Oh, I would too.
I just remember being a kid, and going to the movie theater to see this thing called Star Wars, and I'm wondering if it was going to be like the Star Trek that was on my TV, once a week, and and going in and sitting down and just for 2 hours. And then seeing it probably 50 more times that summer,
Yeah, my dad says the same thing when it comes to when he watched Star Wars, because he's like, back then you could pay like 50 cents to go to the cinema, and then you could just sit there and watch it over and over and over for like the whole
afternoon. Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is funny because then he
streaming in the 70s.
It makes
that's their version of streaming.
I'll point something out in the first three films, and he'll be like, "I never
watching in the 70s."
Yeah.
But I mean, like even brief, even a thing like bringing it back, and Tiff, you're absolutely right to do this, to sort of gently push the river barge back onto course. But bringing it back to what is about to happen in 2021, for this fandom. I mean, I was brought into this world. I don't know the day. I'm sorry. I wish I know. It was a good try. It was a good try. But I honestly don't know.
Wait, if I get close, do you remember it now?
No,
I
don't know. I'll probably find out from you guys before I hear it from anybody else.
Tell us
but I was brought into this. I was brought into this world of. Oh my god!
This was my lightsaber that I got to build.
Great job, Enosh. Take notes, gentlemen and ladies.
It even has a Rancor tooth.
Wow!
So this was the one I got to make my first one.
Is phenomenal. I love it.
No, this is. I just have to say, this is something I love about Enosh and Tiff. When one of them is live streaming and mentions something, the other one grabs it and comes running.
Is helpful. I love that. That's fantastic.
We support each other's nerddom.
Yeah,
partner.
Which is brilliant. But to be brought into this world where okay, so like Fatma, you're saying, I'm just experiencing Star Wars really for the first time, and everybody around you has this sort of knowing grin, like, oh man, you're in for something really, really cool.
Yeah.
For me, who I was never really big into comic books. I appreciated them and I respected them, but it was never really my thing, to be brought into this world. And there's so many people around who are like, oh yeah, no. This is what this is. You can learn this. I at one point I asked somebody, like, can you just give me a quick sort of nutshell chronology of Darkseid, from the first iteration up to the most recent? And I'd love to just know, just for information's sake. And he produced this massive amount of information. And I love that idea of walking into this world where they've got language in the society and they stand and they're going to bring you along. It's marvelous. It's a great feeling. And that's kind of what happened for me with Zack Snyder's Justice League, is I've brought into this world, and it's great.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
No, I think it's such a great way to be brought into this as well. And it's such a fresh perspective. And like such an interesting take, and we're so happy to have you as our Darkseid, and just everything about this project and this movie that we're patiently but not so patiently waiting for next year it's honestly a feat in and of itself. And every time I watch the trailer and I see Darkseid and then Darkseid and then I see Steppenwolf, and I'm just like, those three interacting must be such a joy to see. And not because I know they're villains and they do bad stuff, and that's not why I'm condoning her at all. But what I'm saying is, it's just like, it's such a joy to see in like that interaction that we couldn't see before, and having such a new layer as well. Like maybe it reaches into a new God's universe later on, and that can be expanded. Or, I don't know. I don't know.
Great.
But like, there's just so much potential there, and it's just absolutely beautiful to like those snippets that Zach so masterfully put into that trailer was just a marvel to watch, and it felt so great. And I can't imagine how amazing it is for you to finally, show this and have your work.
It's huge. It's huge. It's enormous. It's personally, it's a really, really big deal. I talked about the roller coaster, and the ride is really fun now.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's massive. I remember, watching that trailer, and like I said, I kept going back and watching other people's reactions to the trailer to see the joy on their face and the surprise. Oh my God, that's going to be in. Oh my God, Iris is what? And the reaction and that, and how rewarding it was, because y'all didn't get the movie you wanted, so you kindly and persistently raised your voices to make sure that you did get the movie you wanted. And how amazing is that? I am a beneficiary of your tenacity, and I'm grateful.
But it's not, I don't even think it's just about like, oh, we want this particular piece of art, so we're going to stomp our feet until we get it. It's about like writing something that we think was so wrong.
I agree.
This is like the Amanda just cries the entire stream. What is this?
No, I think that it became really, I mean, it was always, you know, something that we fought for, but I think that what made us fight harder and harder was the fact that we got a chance as fans to interact with, you know, with people like you, but also like Zach and, you know, others. And at that moment, you don't just feel, hey, this is a movie that I really want. It became something more.
Yeah.
Because you guys have always been so supportive and so kind towards the fandom. And I feel like for us, it was like, okay, so, you know, this is something we want for these people as well. And
it's marvelous.
I think
it also becomes about justice.
Yeah.
I think, you know, in worlds where there's so much going on that maybe we're told or we feel that we don't have an impact on, to say, no, this one thing that I take a stand on, I will change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and look at the money that has been raised for suicide prevention out of the endeavors of the
very
fandom.
Close
I
to
mean,
$500,000.
is, you know, never mind Amanda, I'm about to cry off of that. You know? I mean, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
And marvelous. And yeah, like I said, gratitude doesn't even cover it, but it's definitely there. Gratitude's in there. And I've got to come up with whole new words to express what I feel. And I can't wait for the damn pandemic to be over so that I can start hugging people.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll take two.
Yes. Honestly, one of the hopes that comes out of this movie that we're gonna get hopefully very soon is that, you know, it allows the new people that are in charge to see how much we do love these characters and how much potential these characters have. And there's hope. And I'm a Batman person, but Superman here is ringing and saying that there's hope. There is, and it's like I can't wait to see more interactions with you and
well, you know, people
and I'm hoping his parents too. I want to see a backstory to Darkseid. I did a bit of reading, and it's just so interesting to see his mother and his father and how he became who he was. And
well, I mean, the whole arc has a in it. I mean, you read the history, and it's like, wait a minute, is this not classical theater, classical literature? Oh my gosh! Okay,
like his mother ordered his love to be poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, and there's the whole thing with,
and then he then
another guys, and like this whole, I mean, it's enormous.
And then he ordered his mom's death as well. So it's just so.
It's crazy, you know. And people have talked about, like, is there talk or discussion about there being more? You know, and I mean, I can honestly say nobody's talked to me about it at this point.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the best answer would be, well, as fans, you've learned that if you want something badly enough, you can make it happen.
True.
If you want that badly enough, off you go. You know what to do.
Yeah.
Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of fandom, you know.
You guys get on it. Get on it now.
But it's also about, like, the fact that there's numbers behind this. There's pure numbers that they cannot deny, which they tried for so long. And now that these numbers are there and they're talking, and, you know, you've got a service that needs to continue providing amazing original content and amazing content in general that they have in their repertoire. HBO Max is so rich. It's a shame that they're not international, and it's something that drives me absolutely insane. But I'm hoping that is another thing that, you know, everyone else gets.
I think I can't make any predictions, but I would say that with someone like Zack Snyder at the helm, he will make sure that those people who don't have HBO Max readily available to them will be able to see this.
I'm
because
hopeful
there's an international fandom. There are people who the HBO Max isn't in the country, but they want to see this film, and I believe, I don't know, please don't quote me on it, and for fuck's sake, don't make a headline out of it. I don't know this, but I can't imagine that they would just leave people in the lurch like that, you know.
Mhm.
So I think there's going to be a way for everybody to see it and everyone to enjoy it. So
Exactly. Trust.
exactly. Trust.
There you
Exactly.
One of the people in the chat here, Boros Boric, was saying that he heard that Star Wars was inspired by the New Gods run of comics. I
read that. I don't know that, but that would be really cool if that's the case.
It would be. And Boris, if you're still listening, I want some sources. Tweet us. I want you to bring me your sources. I want your works cited. I want to see this information.
Citations, please. Peer review.
Because
how marvelous that there's readily, because right now there's somebody going whip, 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 whip. Yep, there it is. Boom, boom, love that.
Always.
Yeah,
that's the best part about being around nerds. There's someone who's an expert about everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Meg, Wonder Woman.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No idea. What do you mean?
But it's also such a great community and such a great way to learn from each other as well. Like learn different and new things and be open to, bettering yourself in something that you've never seen before. And it's just, being part of this community is great.
I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, or create like a thing. But I probably should talk about this. I've never really talked about it publicly, but I probably should. And again, you guys are more affected by it than I am. I don't necessarily have a dog in this race, but one of the only disturbing things that I've noticed within the fandom is that sometimes there can be some real hostility and real toxicity among people who are otherwise good people motivated towards something in common. And it's been immensely disturbing to me. And it's been very hard for me not to speak up and say, please stop it. Please don't say these things. Please, eyes on the prize, everybody. Like it's my place to do that. It's not.
Yeah, no.
But my experience with everyone so far has been so wonderful and so inclusive and so kind that it's a shock to me when it isn't. And I just, I hope that all of us can focus on the better angels of our nature and recognize kindness is what matters more than anything else at all. Kindness first, everything else later. And I don't want to get up on a soapbox, and and again, you guys have been much more affected by this than I. Other people have been affected by this more than I have, that kind of thing. But I just think that no matter what the issue is, no matter what the disagreement is, no matter what the beef is, there's enough negativity in the world. Let's leave it out. Let's leave it out there. Let's leave it out there. We've got this amazing, wonderful thing that we can all share together. And the joy of that. And I just think we should focus more on that. I'm sorry to take a side
journey
like that, but it's been on my mind,
This is your panel. You can talk about whatever you want.
Oh, it is? Well, all right. Let's discuss the 351 Windsor V8 engine, the 5.8. Well, it is my panel, right? So, okay, we're going to talk about Holley 4-barrel carburetors. Now,
all right, I'm here for it.
Yes.
My dad was a gearhead. We can talk while I dry my tears. Well, everyone, Darkseid has spoken, and he said, "Everybody love everybody." That's what he said.
You know what? just I think it's pretty readily evident. Jesus. Pretty readily evident. A pretty red elephant. No, it's pretty readily evident what can be achieved when this fandom uses its powers for good.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is before you tweet something, before you interact, before you get pissed off at so-and-so who said something or whatever, just think about, am I using my powers for good? Does this, what does this ultimately do? You know, that's all. I just wish. I'm not saying do this. I'm not saying everybody should just get along. You know, I'm not being that disingenuous. I just,
and also, I think
just
it's
kindness, you know?
Yeah. And is it worth it? Is it actually worth it?
Well, that is the other question, you know, is it? So I just think that, I'm not going to say anything more. I mean, I keep getting tagged in fights like I'm a parent or something, and I'm going to come down to the basement and be like, "You guys get along," and I'm not. That's not my job, and I sure as hell don't want to be involved, you know. And so I've been saying, over and over and over again, please don't tag me in your fights, please. I don't care. I don't want to hear it, and it's a harsh statement to make. I mean, obviously, of course, I mean, I care about the movie and about the project and all of that stuff, but I care more about people being decent to each other than, you know, who hit John, you know? That's all. Enough. Let's talk about fun crap.
Well, since you started on fandom being force for good, I wanted to quickly throw in something purely because there's a bunch of people here who may not know. But on December 20th, this fandom's getting together. We're getting a bunch of streamers together. It's going to be a fun event. It's going to be a whole day event called Deck the Hall of Justice. And there's going to be a whole bunch of streams going one after another. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys can see there's some that you probably know. I'm not going to highlight any of them because all of them are amazing.
Yes.
So we have this happening and coming up. And together with this, we have two things that anyone can participate in. The first one is, if you would like to take part in the streams, you can record 10 to 15 second long video of yourself saying a few words of appreciation and gratitude of Zack Snyder and the RTSC movement.
Cool.
You can then send those, and there's a link below in the description, along with the fundraiser for Autumn Snyder. There is also a link for this. And there is another link in the description, which is if you're too shy to make a video, you can also contribute to a t-shirt campaign, and you can do so based on this little tutorial.
Oh God, I'm going to buy more t-shirts.
Exactly. Yeah. But you don't have to be a talented artist. Like, you know, for example, I couldn't draw a thing for my life. You can just write. You can write a quote. You can write a hashtag, right? Something that means a lot to you in connection to release the Snyder Cut movement. And according to these instructions, you send that, and the link again is below in the description, so you can do that. And the deadlines are coming up, so make sure that you fit in and make it happen so that then we can reveal the final design on those streams on the 20th.
And will this information be posted elsewhere, like Twitter, Instagram, that sort of thing? Instructions. Okay, great. Fantastic.
So all this is on Twitter already, but we, after the stream ends, we'll make sure that we tell the relevant people so that it gets boosted again and it gets shared all over. But if you check,
I'll retweet the hell out of that. That's fantastic.
We will send it to you then, so you can.
This is kind of like a telethon sort of thing for the Autumn Snyder Fund.
Yeah.
Streamathon. Ooh, that works.
And huge thank you and shout out to Nicotina Show for helping organize everyone who's collaborating. This is just unreal. To Cole's point, because let's go. Because it is a streamathon, as it were. Similarly to how how Meg and I interacted on Dave's show when he hosted Zach and we raised funds for Autumn. Then I will be stepping into a similar role for the second half of the day with Nicotina. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm your charity hype woman, and I will be, if you want to see more of me crying, donate.
And really, who doesn't? I mean, come on, everyone. It's the holidays.
Yes.
So yeah, all the funds, all the donations, all the fundraisers are gonna go to Autumn Snyder Tribute Fund.
Fantastic.
We want to hit those 50K that are there as a goal. We want to cross the $500,000 donation towards American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So everything on that day, you know, whatever you guys choose to donate is gonna go right there.
Fantastic.
And yeah, so that's gonna be that. I mean, I hope we will all have fun. Ray, if you want to participate, you're more than welcome to tell us, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll just figure out a way. We'll figure out what's good for me to do to participate in that. Anything I can do to help, absolutely.
We'll hit you
and
up.
If you do not have the funds yourself, as Nana said earlier, please share widely.
Yes.
We understand this year's been hard for everyone, but if you are, you know, if you don't have a Christmas wish list yet, I would recommend asking everyone who would buy you a Christmas gift to donate in your name if you can't.
There you go.
And there is that option. A lot of social media have this, where when you have, whether it's holidays or birthdays coming up, you can actually set up a fundraiser and say, you know, if you like to.
Yeah.
So, you know, take that as an opportunity if you'd like. Anything counts. Really, anything counts. And yeah.
I think it's super cool how all of these different webcasts, podcasts, whatever, are like have personnel helping each other and like
of course
coming in and being, it's, you know, that's aces. That's fantastic.
And we actually just hit the 2-hour mark. So actually I think that's a great place to say la vie for now.
What an absolute pleasure hanging out with all of you this evening.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
Coming on, Ray. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
very
you
much.
so much for everyone who tuned in as well.
Yes, of course.
Well, before we go, girls, tell us a bit where we can find you, because you've done some new projects that are super, super exciting, and I want you to plug them all in.
Who wants to go first? Nose goes.
You're going first.
Yeah, you go first.
So my social media handles are Fringe Bats on Instagram and Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel called The Fatmaverse where I am currently watching Star Wars for the first time with an awesome person called Sean, and I'm also as well as the League of Mayhem, which I absolutely love doing. I am also part of Women of the Watchtower with Amanda and Meg and an awesome lady called Jonita, who's also part of League of Mayhem but couldn't make it today. And I'm also part of Comic Book Debate, who are amazing people, and the love goes out to them as well. And that's me.
All right, go on. Let's say Amanda, take it from there.
You can find me on Twitter at the handle there. And also, as Fatma said, on Women of the Watchtower with Joe and Meg and Fatma. You can also find my voice, but not my sobbing face, on Snyder Punch Pod on Twitter, coming soon in 2021. Very excited about that. And on the 20th, you can find me begging you to donate to charity for an amazing cause with Deck the Hall of Justice. So thank you guys.
All right. Tiff?
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. The places that you can find me is I am on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram as Grand Tiff Tarkin to go along with the Star Wars.
I understand that preference.
Yes, I understand it now. Well, that, and my husband also made me my own Star Wars figures.
Fantastic.
So,
So I'm
Amazing.
so I'm kind of a doll. No, so I'm on Facebook as Tiffany, and I'm on Vero as Tifftastic. But the biggest place that you can find me is on Point Dexter Lounge, which my husband, who does not always show up in a pink onesie, we do a bunch of different things, call-in shows, we do movie reviews and reactions and stuff like that. So it's a big family channel, which Ray, by the way, you are welcome on anytime you would like to be on.
Okay.
So
I'll wear the pink onesie.
Nice. I will pay to see that.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll have to send you one now.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and Poindexter Lounge will also be on Deck the Hall of Justice,
Yes.
along with League of Mayhem, Women of the Watchtower, and Multiversity, which is Janita's new project with a bunch of amazing people. Also part of Comic Book Debate, Multiversity is. So you guys check it out. Even though she can't be here, I wanted to plug it in. And last but not least, Meg.
Okay. Well, you can find me on Women of the Watchtower, League of Mayhem every other Tuesday, World's Finest with my homeboy ACS every other Sunday.
That's fire.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, there he is. And Ray, you are welcome on.
Thank you.
Welcome anytime.
Excellent.
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter as Wonder Meg, and I also write for Comic Book Debate. So,
wow,
there we go.
Shout out to the Farookies.
Yeah,
the Farookies. They
are amazing people, and like they were there from like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just
you have to do
really
their show. They're great set of guys.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Built different.
Yes.
Very cool.
Well, any last parting words you'd like to put in, Ray?
I'm super grateful. Super happy to do this. I hope that everybody has very safe holidays. Wear the damn mask, wash your hands, and be nice to each other.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say.
Words to live by.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone in the chat, for coming to hang out. And thank you, ladies, for taking part with us.
Oh, anytime.
Yay.
And we will see you all in 2 weeks. No, less than 2 weeks.
Less than.
Less than 2 weeks. So we'll see you all on